Welcome to the How to Podcast series. I had an email pop up in my inbox, and lo and behold, Rachel from Australia sends me a voice message to talk about the How to Podcast series and how this podcast has helped her launch her podcast and given her that little bit of a push, a little bit of motivation to start. Rachel, your email and your message, your voice message, which I'll share in a moment, really spoke to me. It's one of those weeks, Rachel, as a podcaster where you just need a little push and a little gas in the tank, and to hear from someone from one of the most beautiful places in the entire world reach out to you and thank you for creating a podcast. Rachel, you know this. As a podcaster yourself, when you create podcasts, you send it out into the world and you always wonder, is this going to land? Is this going to stick? Is this going to help somebody? And Rachel, with your email, you've filled up my tank. Thank you so much. And again, if you're listening and you have a podcast, try something like SpeakPipe. It's a thing you can add to your website. You should have a website, by the way, some way for people to get in touch with you. Anyways, put this thing in SpeakPipe, put it on your website, and then people can leave you an audible message. It goes beyond email. You get to hear the person, and we're podcasters, right? Yeah. So we all kind of love talking. So using a thing like SpeakPipe is a great way to do that. I'll put a link to SpeakPipe as well down in show notes and all that. But this is all about Rachel. And Rachel, thank you for reaching out and leaving this voice message. I'm going to play the voice message from Rachel, and then when we come back, I'm actually going to give you the trailer for Rachel's show. It's called the Aussie eCommerce Mum. It's a diary, and she will help you to make some money. And I think we all want to do that, right? Ding, ding. So this is the voice message from Rachel. And then, like I mentioned, we'll come back with the trailer for Rachel's podcast. So here we go. Rachel, again, to you, thank you for sending this to me. It means so much. And I wanted to share it with everyone so that we can all surround you with love and go and listen to your podcast and rate and review and do all the great things that you need as a new podcaster. So Rachel, thank you. Everyone, you have an assignment. Go give Rachel some love. Here's Rachel's message.
You have reached the voicemail box.
Hi Dave, I just listened to your most recent episode and wanted to leave you a voice message. Thank you so much for your podcast. It really gave me the push I needed to start my own podcast, which I did about 2 months ago. And I'm really enjoying it way more than I thought I would, and it hasn't been nearly as scary as I thought either. My name's Rachel, and I'm leaving you a voice message from the bottom of Australia. So thanks heaps. I always enjoy listening to you, and I really love your podcast, and thanks for giving me the push to start my own.
So Rachel, well done, Rachel. That's all of us here at the How to Podcast series applauding for you, cheering you on, and we are so excited for you and your new podcast. You've got lots of episodes out. I'm going to share the trailer for Rachel's podcast here in a moment. But Rachel, you're right. Starting a podcast can seem overwhelming, can seem difficult, scary, but you've worked through that and you've created the podcast that you want, and that's great. There's a quote I've heard: you don't have to be great to start at something, but you have to start so that you can become great. And that's exactly what you're doing, Rachel. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the best microphone, the best whatever. You can start. And as long as you have a message, you have something to share with the world, you can help somebody, then start. Really. And that's my big thing for everybody. So without further ado, here is the trailer from Rachel's podcast. And I would love for everybody listening to go over and check out her podcast, give her some support, give her some love. to all my past co-hosts, I would ask you to reach out to Rachel if you can and let her know. And encourage her. I really would appreciate all of my co-hosts doing that. Anyone part of How the Podcast series, reach out and just encourage Rachel and thank her for starting and give her some words of wisdom. Show her some love from around the world. Let's fill up her inbox as she took time to reach out to me. I would love it if all of us did the same back to her. That's community, people. That's what we do as podcasters. So Rachel's podcast, again, Aussie eCommerce Mom. It's a diary podcast, and she's going to help you make money, which is what I love. And she is here to share a little bit about herself in this episode. She is going to be helping people to, it's kind of like side hustle based, really, to encourage you on your entrepreneurial journey. And we learn so much from each other's stories through interviews. And some of her favorite podcasts to listen to are all shared in this episode. So here you go, everyone. Here's the podcast. And I would love if you go check it out. But here's the trailer from Rachel. Here you go.
Oh, speaking of podcasts, can we finish listening to this one?
Nice segue.
My name is Rachel. Welcome to Aussie eCommerce Mum, a diary. Are you a business mum? Or maybe you'd like to become an e-commerce mum and turn your craft hobby into an actual business. I started 2 e-commerce stores in 2020 and have been side hustling since then. But what could you expect from my podcast? Mostly it's a casual chat as day-to-day, real-life challenges arise for us to learn and grow from. So maybe listening to my e-commerce ups and downs and challenges will help you in processing and working through your very own. Maybe other times we will take more of a deep dive into real tactical stuff like Facebook ads, because I truly believe the paid traffic world can be so overwhelming, but is such a critical piece in building. I hope my stumbles and successes are a motivator for you to get out there and experiment. Experimenting and using your growth mindset is what I am all about. I get excited about all things marketing, sales, building, and we'll unpack all of these things and more so we can celebrate together and learn from each other right from my kitchen table in Adelaide, Australia. Thanks so much for following along. What episode are you going to listen to first? This podcast is brought to you by one of my e-commerce shops, theturtlejournal.com.au.
So there we go. This the trailer from Rachel's podcast. Again, all the links in the show notes. Rachel, thank you for sending me a message through my website. It's so great to hear your voice. And if you ever need any help, Rachel, in anything, please do not hesitate to either send me a voice message, an email, however you wish to contact. But I would love to help you in any way possible, and would love to connect you with other great podcasters as well. I would love you, Rachel, to come on this podcast and share a little bit more about your podcast journey and what you're learning about yourself, about podcasting. The door's open. Come on, Rachel, be a co-host with me. I would love to have that as well. Everyone, please, if you have a moment, go to the website, leave me a voice message. And again, I'll bring you right in, just like this, a bonus episode, put you out there into the podcast world. Share your podcast with everybody. I want to see as many people as possible start a podcast. Don't worry about the microphone and how much it costs. Don't let that stop you. Don't worry about what hosting site and all the technical stuff. That can all be answered very easily. Don't be overwhelmed by starting. Just start. And like Rachel has done, once you start, then you can learn and then you grow and improve and surround yourself with people who care about you. That's all. We don't need any judges in our life. We need coaches. And a coach is there to lift you up and push you forward. A judge knocks you down. And skip any of those podcasts that are judgmental. Focus on the ones that build you up. If that's here at How to Podcast, I love that. If you find another podcast that speaks to you, then get into the community, grow with that podcast, and reach out like Rachel has done. And you will grow as a podcaster. And I love it. So Rachel, again, thank you. Head over to the website, links in the show notes, and love to talk to you over there. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rachel. Cheers. Hey, this is Dave from the podcast. Thank you for listening to the How to Podcast series. We have a new website, easy to find, howtopodcast.ca. Not .com, .ca. I'm in Canada, so .ca. Howtopodcast.ca is how to find us. How easy is that, right? How did I get that domain? Oh, howtopodcast.ca. Link in the show note below. This is just a quick little thing to let you know, hey, the website's being worked on. It's active. You can go there now. howtopodcast.ca. I would love for you to come over there. It's not the .com. Somebody already had that. I have the .ca because I live in Canada. Ta-da! So, howtopodcast.ca. I'll see you over there. Thank you for being part of the podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow, and do all the things we ask you to do. Catch you on the next one.